what takes a guitar player from good to great, right? There's a lot of great guitar players out there, but they don't make it to the big show.
Right.
So I'm trying to focus on really what gets a good guitar player into the big show. How do you cross that chasm?
Well, you know what? I mean, I know, and I knew when I got my shot, when I got my break, a lot of great musicians, a lot of world-class musicians, and I was in Boston at the time. Guys that were better and than guys that I came to play with later sometimes. And I really think it's luck. It's luck and being and your attitude and being the kind of guy that people can be in close quarters with for extended periods of time. It's like if you have to have the kind of personality that you could be on a submarine with people and not cause a problem. And my friend Steve Lukather always says that there's at least 1,000 guys who can do anything that anybody can do in the world, and the difference between you and them is just luck and the fact that you are fun to be around or are not a problem to be around. And I think that there's a lot of that, but it's also like, you work, you really put in your time working on your craft and your art, and it's like trying to get struck by lightning. You go to the golf course, stand in a bucket of water with an umbrella underneath a tree that's alone by itself during an electrical storm, and you hope it's going to hit you. And that's. I mean, I wish I had a really good answer for that. But dumb luck is the answer.
Another one.
Let me just. You leaving?
Goodbye, darling.
Have a wonderful.
I love you. Don't ever change, okay? Stay moist.
Stay moist. I'll stay like you left me.
Why do you play?
Well, because it's my hobby, and it's my obsession, and it's how I process good and bad things every day, and it's how it keeps me from killing people, and it's what puts me in touch with the great open whatever it is. It puts me in touch with the infinite, and I tend to approach what I do maybe more like I tend to think about music more the way a jazz player would, even though I'm not a jazz player. I mean, it's all about expressing, it's all about it being different every time. It's all about playing from the heart, and it's not about commercial stuff. It's not about. I mean, I've been one of the fortunate ones that's made a great living at it, but then I found myself with people that appreciated what I did and wanted to let me do what I did in their world.
Special. What music is inspiring you these days? I'm listening to strangely, because I was talking to the rest of the guys about it today. I'm really getting a kick out of Stone Sour. Of all the bands in the world, I like Stone Sour at the moment, and the old Coltrane Quartet, Love Supreme, and Miles Davis Bitches Brew, and I've got a record coming out with a couple of friends of mine from Nashville. It's the drummer from Robert Plant's band and Patty Griffin, who's singing with Robert Plant, who just won a Grammy, and it's called The Magnificent Others, and that's like Americana stuff. And then I've got my 5th solo record coming out, and then I've got a free-form like metal avant jazz improv thing that's coming out. That's absolutely. It even terrified us when we heard it. We kind of went. So though it's actually those. I mean, I hate to sound like I'm navel gazing, but it's the stuff that I'm making with friends close to me that I'm finding the musicians I'm fortunate enough to surround myself with the most inspiring. And there's a group of guys in Boston called Club Delph, which is an improvising collective.
And I go out and play with them. And that's like Miles Davis, Bitches Brew kind of stuff. And
That's jazz.
well, yeah, I like improv. I mean, if music doesn't have room for me to improvise, then if I have to play the same thing every night, then I'll throw a TV out the window. You know, if I get to improvise, then all the furniture's safe.
The music business is changing.
Yeah.
Just curious, where do you see musicians' careers actually going? What direction do you see them best going in?
I think we all, I mean, having been doing this at a high level, I guess since the late 80s, you know, I was fortunate to be in there during the gravy years and you know, through my 15 years with Bowie, producing and co-writing and knowing what the budgets were and knowing what we got paid and what I made and we were getting paid way too much money when people like school teachers are struggling to have money and I think in a bigger picture the world is readjusting its values. Music is important, but if I stop playing guitar, who will really notice that? If the garbage man stops picking up the garbage, people are going to notice that. And so, you know, I think what's going to happen is the people. There was a point in the '90s where playing music became a viable option as a career, a respectable option. Prior to that, it had always been kind of iffy. But once MTV came in strong, people's, you know, if you met a girl, her parents were cool with the fact that you were in a band because you could be a millionaire tomorrow, and that has now, I think, gone back to where it's only the people who are obsessives and can't live without playing that are going to be doing it. And it's a battle to make a living, even for guys, you know, like me that have been doing it for 30 years and know people and know but it's a, you know, the fact that I have a home studio and people around the world send me files to play on, and there's things like PayPal and stuff like that. It's a cottage industry now, and I think maybe that's more realistic. You know, that whole I've always found the whole rock star thing kind of. I never trusted it. I thought it's obviously a facade, but I also thought it was kind of baloney. I thought it was unrealistic and inflated and selling a fantasy to people that wasn't a good fantasy. You know, like what we did here tonight is about a little bit of fantasy, but it's about a graspable, real thing that they can do at home. Yeah. You know, whereas, you know, when people are aspiring, you know, people are doing dumb things because they want to be like Keith Richards. You know, when people are renting limos to go, you know, to go to concerts when they maybe should be buying shoes for their kid. You know, that's that. So, I guess it's a different world. It's a different world now, but the technologies are within our grasp. You know, you can put stuff out. It's harder to make a living, and there's a lot of voices out there, and everything is narrowcasted. It's a smaller bandwidth for each style of music, so it's both easier and harder at the same time. Which I guess when you do that, you end up in the same place. You know?
If there was one, and I'm sure there were many, pinnacle moments, whether it was a concert, a small show, a collaboration with someone, is there one that stands out in your mind and is that, you know, God, I can't believe I was there to pinch myself?
Playing, with Tim, there's a couple of them that I guess would all be equal. Playing with Tin Machine in Amsterdam on the first tour, and we played at a place called the Paradiso, which was a small club, and there were only held 1,000 people inside, but there were 25,000 people outside, and they had to put screens up so they wouldn't riot. And when we left by boat through the canals in the back door, and they were all like, it felt like they were all running alongside the canals in slow motion. And I had just come out of like playing four guys in a van, just playing small gigs, so that was a shock. You know, playing playing in places like Belfast or in Czechoslovakia after the wall came down, or playing in Zagreb those where it felt like anytime it felt like it meant something, when you could feel that you played a song that had heart and those people needed that's what I mean. I'm actually getting chicken skin right now thinking about it. And then I happened just the other day in the studio with with playing with a bunch of friends of mine. And sometimes the music just goes like, and I just there's so many things I can't even. I've been lucky.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry to ramble.
Dude.